when I critique stuff, I critique it based on the flaws that I see, and I can articulate it. This is a flaw for the following reasons, and this is what it lends to. This is why you can't do it. I'll break it down. The vehicle space is one that it's been huge. The whole idea of fighting from the front seat and the counter ambush stuff. No, an ambush is a sucker punch with a gun. You don't get to counter it. You get to survive it. That's all. You don't counter a sucker punch. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a sucker punch. Like
you saw it coming.
Yeah, if you saw it coming, it's not a sucker punch. But if you get sucker punched, all the best you can hope for is that you don't get knocked out. And if you get stunned and you get dropped to your knees, you got about a second to a second and a half to get to your feet, or you're going to get finished in the corner of the freaking bar at O'Loughlin's.
Whatever.
Like you're not going to get out of that. It doesn't work like that. And people that have never been there, I say that because that's a specific place and thing that happened to me. I got hit really hard. And it was hard enough to drop me to my knees, but not hard enough to put me out. And I remember in the corner of the bar at O'Loughlin's going, if I don't get to my feet in about a second, he will bury me right here, and I'll wake up outside on the freaking concrete with the bouncers. Like that's the truth of it. You just survive it and hope you can get to your feet. If you don't get to your feet, and that's movement, you get buried right there. That's the way it works. That's fighting, man. I'm sorry, but it's like, and when people explain things to others. Well, you can counter this and you can do that. You can shift your body and you can return. You can identify the threat.
Making a lot of assumptions.
There's all kinds of assumptions. The one assumption that you're not making is there's bullets coming through the windshield. Like, and Pat and I, when we teach the course, like we look at time as rounds per second you're receiving. 1 second at 25 splits, which is not really fast, is 4 rounds per second. The start signal is boom. So that's your 5th round. So in the first second, you just took 5 rounds. 1,000. That was 5 rounds. Like, start thinking about it mathematically. Take your personal experience out of it in that sense. Okay, whatever you think or don't think or experience, whatever. Say, just look at it mathematically. Okay? In 2 seconds, 1,000, 2,000, 9 bullets just came through the windshield. Do you think you can even identify where it's coming from in that time frame? No. Are you going to? No. You're just going to try and get out of the way of the bullets.
This is practical.
That's just human nature. I'm in jeopardy from something out there that's coming through here, and I have to get out of the way. I have to find some place to hide long enough to do some of that pilot shit, Mav, like to figure it out. Otherwise, you're kidding yourself if you think you're going to do all this flamboyant stuff. And you can only really do that because you don't know. Like you're saying, I can do this. No, you can't. You just can't. And there's no provable way. There's no instance of that's happened that people can document and go, this actually happened and it worked. And so that's why when I see stuff like that, back to the whole training space and the marketing piece, and you start looking at people with flashy marketing selling trash, okay? And I was telling Vetty about it. It's like the Thigh Master. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
How many does she sell? She sold a gazillion of those, right? Right? How many people use those?
I have no idea.
No, but you know what? But, she sold 1 million of those. And people are, it's got to be good. They bought it. They used it for 2 minutes. Go, this sucks.
Right.
Or they used it for 2 minutes and then never used it again. But the bottom line is people used it because of the marketing pitch. Yeah. That's why. It was sold well. It's useless, but it was sold well. And so it's like there's a lot of that in the training space especially for tactics, because shooting is very quantifiable. There's stuff you can and can't do, and you can look at a target and a timer and go, that's it.
I think people are learning that. There's a lot more people have shot timers than have ever had shot timers before. Yep. And
it is really called the herd on the shooting side. But on the tactics side, you still have people talking about footwork and CQB. Yeah. Like, dude, can you walk?
Right.
Then stop it. Like, and then the whole, like, how do you open a door? I don't know. How do you usually open a door? Like, I mean, pull and hold, push and go. Like, it's kind of simple. People try to make things very complex to sound smart. And it's not, truthfully, things are not that complex. Being simple and being easy are two very different things.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, simplicity doesn't necessarily make it easy. It just makes it easy to understand.
Yeah, and articulate.
Yes, but in application, it's very difficult. And I think that's
getting lost.
It's getting lost completely. That's why, like, the tagline for the company, the magic is there's no magic. There's no fancy, ornate, magical, secret stuff. It's just simple things done exceptionally well at a high level of proficiency and then applied in a dynamic environment. And there's a lot of people that are like, that's where they're selling magic. I've got the secret way. I've got the hack. Stop it. Just stop. There's no, the life hack to me is a way to avoid the work. And that doesn't ever turn out well. That doesn't ever turn out in repeatable performance under pressure.
Yeah, this goes back to, I think you just mentioned it, but like majoring in the minors. Mm-hmm. Like there's 90% of what you need to do are fundamentals. Right? And then there's this 10%, And yes, you can get things through maybe you can make up some of those percentage points. Even if it's like a 0.5%. In the fitness world, it's supplements, right? It's gear. It's whatever. It's PEDs. Like in the firearm side of things, it's triggers. It's
exactly.
Optics, it's
spot on.
It's those kind of things, and that's where so much of the focus goes when in that 10% margin. Yeah, because that's where
the money is.
There's a huge return there's a huge profit margin in those little things. That's what, again, going back, it sort of frustrated me when I was looking at it and going, this sounds really weird. And it kind of looks really similar to me. Like I've been in this thing and I watched these people, they said this stuff, and they sold a lot of things, and it pissed me off because I'm like, they're selling garbage. That's snake oil. That's bullshit. I know that product. I know the person behind that product. That's shitty. And I was angry for a long time. In fact, I was off. I didn't get into the social media game and the fitness business until late in the game when I expanded the business. I'm like, fuck, we just tripled in size in terms of square footage. I got to put butts in the seats. Like, I need to do some things. But when I did do that, this is way before the podcast. It's like, I don't want to put anything out that a coach won't look at and go, that's smart. Yep. And that at the same time, a potential new client or my audience or who I was trying to build couldn't look at it and understand. But at the same time, I'm also not trying to dumb it down to the point where where people have have the wrong perception or conception of what it is we're trying to put out there. Because to your point, there may be some complexity to it, but it's not complicated. And I am not trying to overcomplicate this by using big words and word salad and all those kind of things. And by the way, I only have 15 seconds to give you this message because your attention span, it's less than that now.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and it was very hard for me. It still is. It still is very hard for me. I think I'm better at it just through practice, but it created a lot of anxiety for me. And there were times where I tried to outsource this stuff. Like I'm just I don't know how to do this well. I had to learn it. And then over time, I was like, no, I don't think there's another way to do this. I see other people doing things a certain way. And maybe they're seemingly successful and they're not, or I kind of like the way that looks and sounds. And if I could do my message like that person is presenting it, only with my words, this could be, maybe I could make this work. So go back to like the vehicle thing for just a second. I've seen a lot less of that in the last year, like being portrayed on like the social media stuff than the previous years. I mean, that thing was people were selling a lot of vehicle classes, and they still exist. But I think that message is getting out there.
It's absolutely getting out.